Hi, Church. Pastor Jeff here with another Trinity check-in. Today, I want to talk about immigration. Now, I suppose by some measures I'm a little bit late here. I actually think that slowness is a virtue. You know, whenever the news story of the day happens, one practice that's helped me is to always wait, to not click on every headline I see, and you would be amazed how many of them fall away and turn out to be not real, or the amount of perspective on them changes if you wait even a few hours or 24 hours. But with everything happening in Minneapolis recently and our country in general, I felt moved today to give you all a little background on faith and immigration and United Methodism and immigration in particular. Now, I doubt there's anybody listening to me this video from our church who's going to disagree with anything I'm going to say today. I get the sense that we are all of one mind here, but all the same, it helps to have the language. It helps to have the tools that our faith offers when thinking about this and the affirmation. So I wanted to share. So first I'm going to talk about the Bible and immigration. Then I'm going to talk about the United Methodist Church, and then I'm going to talk about what you can do. And boy, I have a very good answer for you on that what you can do side of it too. So first, the Bible. Immigration is all over the Bible, almost the entire thing. I suppose technically not in Genesis 1, but you get the point, right? There weren't people yet by that point. It is all over it. And I'm going to give you two examples here, one from early in the Bible and one from Jesus' own time. The one from early in the Bible is from Leviticus. Last week on this video, I talked about the Torah. The first 5 books of the Bible as we know it today, oftentimes referred to as the law, but it means so much more than that. It was the teaching that God gave to shape the Israelites, God's chosen people, to form their community and to shape them into the ways of God. And one of the bits of it is this. Now, this is Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 and 10. When you harvest your land's produce, you must not harvest all the way to the edge of your field, and don't gather up every remaining bit of your harvest. So get this. So if you're harvesting in a circle pattern, you're supposed to leave the outer circle of your field. And it says, do not pick your vineyard clean or gather up all the grapes that have fallen there. Leave these items for the poor and the immigrant. I am the Lord your God. And you actually see evidence of this in Jesus' time, a good 1,000 years later. I don't remember the exact time. And there are stories in the Gospels where Jesus and his disciples are walking along a field, and they pick some of the fruit off of the edge, off of that outer circle as they traveled, because they were poor. This was food that was left for them because it's the job of God's people to care for those in that kind of a position. Now, just a little further down in the same passage, listen to this. When immigrants live in your land with you, you must not cheat them. Any immigrant who lives with you must be treated as if they were one of your citizens. You must love them as yourself because you were immigrants in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You must not act unjustly. It goes on there. But you get the idea, right? He's reminding the Israelites that they were once immigrants, as were we all of our peoples, at one point or another. And so they must be treated fairly. Okay, so fast forward to Jesus' time. Jesus himself was an immigrant for a while. For Lent, haven't announced this yet, but for Lent we're going to do a read-through of the Gospel of Matthew as a church, and you'll learn in the very first week of that read-through and of that sermon series how Jesus had to flee. Jesus and his family, Mary and Joseph, had to flee from King Herod, and the way they did it was by becoming immigrants in Egypt before coming back. But then later on, where am I here? When Jesus has his famous passage in Matthew 25, he says this. Come, you who will receive good things from my Father, inherit the kingdom that was prepared for you before the world began. I was hungry, Jesus says, and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, hang on to that word, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothes to wear. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. And a little bit further down, you probably know this passage. The people say, well, when did we see you, Jesus? When did we see you naked? When did we see you a stranger? And Jesus says, whatever you did for the least of these, you did it for me. Well, the word stranger in that passage is a Greek word that has a couple of different translations, and the translators of this particular version chose the word stranger because it's the broadest word, but one of the meanings of that word is immigrant. It is quite a valid way to read it. I was an immigrant, and you welcomed me. When did we see you an immigrant, Jesus? Whatever you did for the least of these, truly I tell you, you did it for me. So you can see this theme of being good to immigrants and treating them fairly, treating them as one of your own is throughout all of the Bible. Now, when it comes to United Methodism, we have a document called the Social Principles. We have a bigger document called the Book of Discipline. Not discipline as in punishment, but discipline as in how do we be disciplined about our lives and about our way of being a Christian. It's our method as Methodists. And the Social Principles are what we believe. It's a little broader than just a statement on human rights, but that's a pretty basic way to say it. It's what we believe is true, what we believe is right, what we believe is just for all people. And I want to read to you one bit from it here. We recognize, embrace, and this is United Methodist Church, this is us. We recognize, embrace, and affirm all persons, regardless of their country of origin, as members of the family of God. We affirm the right of all persons to equal opportunities for employment, access to housing, health care, education, and freedom from social discrimination. In other words, it doesn't matter what your status is in this country or in any country. These are human rights of people who are members of the family of God, and that is every person, whether they know it or claim it or not. We affirm the right of all persons to equal opportunities for employment, access to housing, health care, education, and freedom from social discrimination. Now, if you want to read more of those, you can find it by going to umc.org or just Google United Methodist Social Principles. Do be sure you get the most recent one. They were updated in 24, and they are quite good. And in fact, there were some Nebraskans who had a hand in doing that revision, and we're quite proud of that. So, as I said, there's no question that Christianity and United Methodism is pro-immigrant in every possible way, and there's other things about what's been happening recently that you'll be able to find the Social Principles and the Bible, for that matter, speaking to. But since we're talking about immigration today, I wanted to leave you with some things that you can do. One of them is pray. Now, I always get a little nervous just saying pray because I don't want it to sound like the thoughts and prayers that get talked about and that is just a thing that people say that ends up being shallow. Actual, true, honest-to-goodness prayer, I am a firm believer, makes a difference. I don't have the quote in front of me here, but I have there's a quote that I especially like about how the prayer in one place makes a difference across the world. That is something that I have come to believe. Is it something I can prove scientifically? No. But the more I live, the more I get to know God, the more moments that I have, spiritually speaking, the more I believe that to be the case. So do pray. Take it seriously. And maybe you pray with words. Maybe words don't come to you and you pray in silence. Maybe whatever it is. But pray. It does make a difference. But of course, it also makes a difference to pray with your feet, to do action. That's an important part of it too. And so another thing you can do is advocate. I know there are many in our church who contact legislators, both national and at the state level, and do many things to advocate for the immigrant and for other causes too. And you know what? I mentioned the United Methodist Social Principles earlier. Those are a guide to me when I decide what's worth doing and what's not. What is something something I want to get involved with and what's not, well, oftentimes I will think about those social principles. And I don't, now I'll be honest, I don't agree with every single thing that's in it, even though I'm a United Methodist pastor, but I still find it a helpful guide of what's worth doing and what might not be. Another thing is to support any immigrants that are in your life. That one's kind of a given. I hope that one's obvious. I'm going to save the best one for last here. Let me say one more, though. UMCOR, our United Methodist Committee on Relief. Usually we hear about them when there's a hurricane or an earthquake and doing the disaster relief. But UMCOR also has a global migration fund, and they send hygiene kits to refugees and migrants and immigrants in many parts of the world. That part of it's a little less active here in America, but it is part of helping immigrants worldwide, and you can always support that too. We actually have a team from our conference who's down in Louisiana helping out with UMCOR right now. But the best way, well, perhaps other than prayer, that I think you can help immigrants is to right here in Lincoln is with Connection Point, our own United Methodist ministry. In fact, it's our own district ministry here in Lincoln. It's located fairly close to East Campus. It is and the person who runs it, Catherine Ebling Frazier, comes to preach here when I have a week off from time to time. She's one of my favorites to invite. Many of you know her. Many of you volunteer at Connection Point already. Now, they don't specifically serve the immigrant. It's not that that's named or anything. But the truth is, a great deal of the work they do are helping the immigrant right here in Lincoln. So if you want to actually help in a tangible sort of way, volunteer. You can find their website by Googling. It's connectionpointlnk.org. If you want to go directly to it, there's not a whole lot on the website, but there is contact information to get involved and to contact Catherine and to volunteer. Or you can track down, I don't know, find the right people on Sunday morning. Find Amy or Sophie or me, and we'll hook you up with some of our church members who volunteer already. There is so much good that's done. And amidst everything that's going on in the world today, we must advocate, we must pray for those big things. But I firmly believe that one of the best things we can do is to tangibly help the immigrants that are in our own midst, in our own community. And I know of no better way to do that than Connection Point. Well, okay, I hope this was helpful to you. I doubt any of you disagree with anything I said, like I said at the start, but it helps to have the language. It helps to have the affirmation. And good immigration and support of the immigrant is such a big part of our faith and our denomination that I thought it was worth saying, worth putting into words, and worth affirming. I hope you'll let me know what you think and what you've done. I would love to have some more stories too. In the meantime, this Sunday we're telling the story of Elijah. It's a story that is different than other Bible characters. It takes a little more to get into the story, I think, but there are some riches in there, and I think this sermon will land well and kind of connect with last week's sermon with Moses and seeing Moses' back too. I wasn't intending to do a sermon series. I was going to do 3 one-offs, but it kind of turned into an unofficial series. So I hope you'll be here Sunday for that too, and I look forward to seeing you soon.